I think each of you has had this happen, that if you bet break-even, the price will definitely return to your break-even, knock you out, and then go further. Well, at least if you use break-even, you could encounter this. Let's discuss today how to avoid this. I will show you my way how I do it. Perhaps you do it differently, and someone else perhaps will find my experience useful. So let's take a look. Let's say we had an ascending structure. We are planning to go short here, for example, from a false breakout. Let's say we have a pattern formed here. We enter. This will be our entry point, right at the price. This is where our stop will be. And now our task is to understand how to properly manage a position without losses so that we are not knocked out ahead of time. It is very important to look here at where your structure initially began. That is, where the nearest strong level is, where the nearest strong sales zone is. Because, as a rule, most often it will be our target take. On the way to this zone, we will naturally have some intermediate zones and levels where we will have to watch the price reaction and react. But we should always have this target zone in our head as the basis of our entry point, and the intermediate ones naturally will be used for other purposes, which we will discuss now. So we entered, and here the price, let's say, already goes a distance equal to, well, approximately 1 to 1. Let the coefficient not be 1 to 1, but let's say 1 to 0.8. And here it turned out that there is already some not very pleasant level, or some not very pleasant zone from which the price can bounce. So what is the mistake of the majority at the beginning? That when the price has already reached here, where do you move your stop loss? To break even. What does the price do? It comes back for a retest for various reasons. Here it can be a balance that can be closed. Here it can be a block order. Here it can be anything. Here it can be a head and shoulders and so on. The point is not in this now. The point is that you move the position to break even prematurely and naturally on rollbacks, which happen in most cases. You will be knocked out here. It is impossible to fight this. This is how the market works. Here you can adjust. How? When the price has reached the nearest, albeit weak zone, but which can cause this correction, you must react and, for example, make a save. This means that we close half the position. If you had 10 slots open here, then you close 5 slots here and leave the rest alone. That is, your stop loss is still there. You can move it a little, so that the coefficient is equalized, approximately equalized to 1 to 1. But you absolutely cannot move it to break even. Thus, you just sit quietly during this correction, which means quietly. This does not mean that you need to do nothing. You sit and watch if the correction really has corrective signs. There are many different ones. But you see that the buyer feels weak here. And because you perceive this situation more calmly, you can breathe out and remain in the position calmly.
Interested in increasing your FX trading profit without additional investments or risk? Try FX Cash Spread Rebate. Trade as you usually do, and your broker will credit you with FX Cash Rebate that will appear on your account. The rebate amount you can earn depends on your broker's terms and conditions. With FX Cash Rebate, your break-even trades become profitable. Loss on unsuccessful trades is somewhat compensated, while your profit on winning trades increases. All this boosts your overall trading income. Let's make some calculations. Find the rebate calculator on the FX Cash homepage. Select any broker from the list and start your calculations. So here's the amount you lose by not leveraging spread rebate. To open an account with rebate options, sign up for an FX Cash account first. Fill out all required fields, enter your phone number, and create a password. Once you are signed in, go to your client area and choose a broker that fits you in the Open Trading Account tab. You can then proceed to opening an account immediately or learn some more details about this broker in the description tab. Once you've opened an account, enter its ID in your FX Cash client area. That's it. Now you can start trading just as you usually do, but now you will be getting immediate extra income with each closed trade. FX Cash is your #1 rebate service. Choose only regulated brokers, more than 30,000 users. Some of the best rebates in the industry. Easy to sign up, user-friendly interface. FX Cash is always on your side in case of any disputes or legal issues. Any questions? FX Cash professional customer support will guide you through the world of online trading.
That is, there will be no fuss, no sweaty palms here. The second option. If you are a professional trader here, and you clearly understand that at this point, which I will now highlight in green, you see that there is no buyer here. Sometimes you can look at the footprint chart, some experience and observation can help, but you see that there is no buyer here, that there is no chance that we will bounce back from here strongly enough. Then you can leave your position completely and transfer it to break even only when there is a full implementation impulse. What does this mean? A full impulse is when you and I are already approaching this key zone, where this impulse began, where there is a stronger level. When approaching this zone, it is not necessary to wait until we enter here. The main thing is that we cope with this first point, which we had here with this point, which could be a temporary obstacle. If we have overcome this obstacle, we have moved on and are moving towards our main zone. Now is the time to move the position to break even. Because this impulse has already been realized enough to say that there is no point in this seller adjusting to this zone. Now let's look at an example on the chart to make it a little clearer. Let's look at our example. So we have a level. Here we have an entry point formed approximately, as we have painted everything. We have this intermediate zone, which can cause some unpleasant reaction. And we have the main one. This is our target zone. So, implementing the entry point here, with your permission, just for simplicity, without bothering, I will put here two such levels. When making an entry point, our stop loss will be somewhere around here. This is if we enter simply by the pattern, without waiting for any rollbacks into the order block zone. To fill the imbalance, simply by the pattern, we get a stop. It's approximately there. Let's round it up. It will be exactly 200, a very good, clear, round number. We will have 1 to 2 to the target zone. I repeat, this is without any rollbacks here, order blocks and so on. Very simple. The simplest entry by pattern. To the nearest zone, the intermediate one, which can push us out and do something unpleasant, we have, you see, only 100. That is less than our stop. That is, we don't get through the safe in terms of a 1-to-1 ratio, but we will need to react somehow. And let's see. Here, as I usually do, I put an alert here. I come up to do my own thing for a bit. When the alert goes off, I come up and see what happened here. And very often you already come to the moment when there is a little more here, or the price fluctuates right at the level. But our task is to make the right decision if, I repeat, you are an experienced trader, as I said earlier, and you can see here that there is no strong buyer here by its signs. I will usually use footprint for this, yes. Then you can continue to hold the position calmly. If here it becomes uncomfortable, your palms start to sweat a little, you understand that you are starting to somehow hyperreact emotionally. Look, by this point we have 125 here, our stop was 200. We throw away half the position, we pull up the rest so that we have, well, approximately here. Here we have closed 125. And here I would put it like this, a little more there, 150, 130. And that's it. Take the emotional load off yourself and sit calmly, watch further. Don't worry, perceive the situation adequately. Let's now move on and see how we would calmly and adequately perceive the situation further. We see that the price continues to move below the level. So far everything is calm, we have no problems here. There are no storms. Here we see an approach to the zone, and this is exactly the moment when for the seller. Well, even think logically, it is absolutely not profitable for him to make any rollbacks, corrections to these zones. You can calmly move to break even or exit, but why should you move to break even? Another level is set here, another alert. You can set it right at the level, or a little bit earlier. If you set it right at the level, then here you can add a minimum distance to the level, so that it works a little earlier. because we remember that we need to react a little earlier to the level. So why do this here? We can have such a good, sharp, beautiful breakout, and you and I, if we just set a take, we will not get this good profit here, which could have been. If we just sat and waited, therefore, alert is optimal here. You can sit not at M30 on the approach to the level, go to neighboring timeframes, run around and see what is happening here. And choose for yourself some optimal exit point up to 5 minutes. You can go down to a minute here. The main thing is that you understand what is happening there. And so, well, here we see that we have a breakout, but unfortunately bad volumes. This is also a factor that should stop us from holding the position further. That's it. Here you can calmly react and exit the position. That is, we must understand that the transfer to break-even should happen after some more or less adequate impulse. You can look at the nearest zones, at some places where the price can react, so that it can cope with them. You can choose a distance for yourself, let it be when the price goes there 1 or 1.5, 1 or 2 from your stop. But the impulse is realizable, it must go. If it goes, then it is safe to transfer the position to break-even. Now let's look at another example, a more complex example, where we'll try to taste what will happen if we move the position to break even too early. Here I had an entry point, I dumped it. It was quite complex to support, so this will be an ideal example to analyze the transfer to break even. Look, we have an impulse. It seems to be more or less developed, implemented, good. And many here would have already started moving the position to break even. It is clear that you and I would have open positions at completely different quotes. I had a position open approximately here. Someone could have had it earlier, someone could have had it a little later. Therefore, let's highlight some kind of middle zone for where our positions could be opened, if we see the market approximately the same way. Here we have a reversal level, a mirror level, a breaker, whatever you call it. For me, this is a reversal. I really like to call it that. And you and I came here, and what often happens on reversals? Very often, if the price here was a buyer who broke through this level, it can react here with a rebound. Therefore, we must understand that we have just reached a place where it may not be very pleasant to support the position. I immediately moved 2 candles, no big deal. You see how unpleasant it is. The price returns, tests imbalances, order blocks, head, shoulders, anything here. The positions of those who entered in this range are knocked out. Without losses, not positions, but without losses. The price moves further down. Only a safe could be the best way out of this situation. Moreover, look at the further development of events. Retest. By the way, you can even build a separate strategy on such retests. Very interesting thing. Retest of this zone. Look, I immediately rewound here to show you the further development of events, and how bad it is to transfer a position to break even. To be honest, I very rarely transfer positions to break even now because I like the safe tactic better. And when you have made a safe, you can more calmly assess the situation, how the price is moving here. And do not worry, if you want to leave the position, leave it. If you do not want to leave the position, close and wait for the next entry point. But if you want, it is already safe for you. Therefore, you can calmly go to bed and watch the development the next day. So, here we had a position that was very complex in terms of entry point. It was very profitable, but its support was in these moments. Just imagine traders, experienced, beginners, it doesn't matter, who have a huge number of doubts during this fluctuation. And naturally, most of them reach out to move the position to break even here. Naturally, most of them will jump off this train before moving on, so be careful with break-evens. I recommend using the safe and partial closing tactics to sit out such longer movements. According to mathematics, many people think that a safe cuts their profit. But trading is not only mathematics, it is also a lot of psychology, and a safe removes unnecessary psychological and emotional stress from you. Therefore, you do not just close the safe here and sit quietly further. You perceive the situation more adequately and learn to see more in the market here than just your emotions. Although it is also useful to see emotions because many people lose on them, so if you correctly evaluate the emotions of yourself and others, many things will become clearer here in the market. Good luck trading to everyone. I hope this video was useful to you. If so, write comments, like, subscribe, and see you in the next videos.